Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you're here to watch my videos. Anyway, I am returning with pack number 9 of the T800 Terminator from Agora Models. Now in pack number 9, I work on stages 81 through 90. I'm actually going to start working again, continuing on the left hand, the left arm, and working on the left hip and leg. There's a lot to do here, and I apologize the video is long because I am showing you some new techniques that I'm doing with those Teflon washers for the fingers. Now those Teflon washers have always given me fits throughout this build, and I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's get started. Happy modeling.
Phased plasma rifle in the 40 watt range. Uzi 9mm. I'll be back.
Pack 9. Give me a second, I'll take all these parts out and we'll see everything that's included with pack 9. Let's look at the magazine for pack 9. And we have 10 more stages to do, stages 81 through 90, getting close to the end here. So I'll show these stages as we go along with this video. And we'll see what's located in the back of the magazine here. They usually have an article or two. And the article here is Sci-Fi Cinema, Spider-Man 2. Very cool there. Human exoskeletons. Alright, so let me get all the parts and we'll look those over. Here's the first 5 stages. Stage 81, components for the forearm and the third finger of the left hand. Stage 82, components for the upper left arm, forearm, and left hand. Stage 83, assemble the left forefinger. Stage 84, construct the left thumb. And stage 85, extend the lower left arm and connect to the hand. Stage 86, assemble the shoulder, affix the left arm to the body and collect the hip joint. Stage 87, fixing the joint mechanism to the left thigh. Stage 88, assemble the left hip joint. Stage 89, finishing the left hip joint and assembling the leg part. And lastly, the final stage, stage 90, fitting parts to the left thigh. Let's look inside what's in 87, the box here. And that's what that looks like there. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 81. Stage 81, like I said, we assemble the components for the forearm and the third finger of the left hand. Here's all the parts that are included and what we'll need to begin here. And we'll assemble the finger parts again. I'm going to try something new with this assembly and I'll explain that to you as I do it. Here you go there. And lastly. Okay, let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 81. I'll take them out and get a closer look. We have bits of the forearm shaft right there, and the rest of the parts are for the finger. So before I begin, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to take these Teflon bushings here, and I'm going to put them in hot water and use them. They should be a little more pliable and easier to install on the fingers. So I've got a cup here of hot water. I'm going to put those in there and let them soak for a bit. And I'll have this on top of a coffee cup warmer on the side of my bench. So here's all the parts laid out for the finger, and we're going to assemble the first two parts here, which are these two. And they're simply going to go together like that, I believe. We definitely don't want this side to mount to it. See the little triangles there? We want the round on round, just like that. Okay, so we'll put the Teflon bushing on here. I'm going to put these together. This is going to go under. Next one on top. Squeeze it together. That looks good there. Got some super glue on the tray here. Little dab of super glue in that hole. And put the cap on. Just like that. Nice and warmed up now. Put that on from underneath. A little more pliable. Squeeze that together. And put some super glue. Cap goes in, put the cap on it. And lastly, we do this last one here. Slide that in, just like that. Put the pin in. Heating up the Teflon did help. And put our cap on. And do the fingertip here. Perfect. Next, I'll bring over the parts from stage 80, and we're going to insert these items here onto it. Okay, so we're going to insert this on this side here. So we need to insert that bracket there. Gonna put that through that bracket, just like that. And that's going to screw into that. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Just like that. And that's tight. And that's how that looks there. That's all we do with stage 81. It looks great. Let's head over and do stage 82. let's look at the build instructions for stage 82. Stage 82, we get the components for the upper left arm, forearm, and left hand. And these are all the parts. The first thing we do is we assemble the finger we just assembled onto the left hand. Then we start working on the arm and the tendons. Installing the larger tendon. Then we have the upper arm assembly that we start working on. The upper arm cap. More work on the upper arm. And that's how that will look. So let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 82. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. Here's the upper arm cap, which is made of plastic. Another tendon. And one of the joints there. Screws, washers, and some more finger parts. So stage 4, we assemble the other tendon. Same thing as before. We're going to put our screw through this mount here. It's going to go in right there. I'm going to screw that down till it's tight. That's how that looks. Looks good. Next we'll bring over our arm assembly, and we're going to work on this side here. And we're going to go ahead and glue in our friction washer there. Put some glue on these points here. And that's just going to go down on top, just like that. That's how that looks. Now we'll bring over the cap here, and the cap will slide down on top of this arm assembly. There is a alignment thing here that's going to line up just like that. It's going to go on this, and you can see the friction part here was going to mate up to that. We're going to be putting a screw in from the back, and that's going to insert into the back side here, and it's going to screw in to this. Okay, that's good. That's how that looks. And I did it off camera, but I inserted the Teflon washer through the knuckles first, and then put the pin on, and then I super glued the cap on. It does help to heat up that Teflon bushing in hot water first. Everything just slides on real smoothly. So I'll show you how that works when we do the next finger, but that went on very nicely. And that's all we do with stage 82. That was a lot of fun, making great progress here. Let's move on to stage 83. And welcome back. Let's look at build instructions for stage 83. 83, we assemble the left forefinger. Looking good there. And these are all the parts included. And just as before, here's all the assembling of the fingers with the Teflon bushings, the pins, super glue. Does help to soak the Teflon in hot water first. Of course, we'll mount the completed finger onto the hand. Then we'll put on the tendon attachment points for the hand. And that's what that will look like. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts pack for stage 83. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. Here's the finger parts, the pins, the tendon attach points, some screws, and the rest of the parts for the fingers, the joints and such, the Teflon bushings. Okay, so I put all the Teflons on a screwdriver. I got the longer Teflon piece, that's for the when the finger gets mounted to the hand, and then the other three are shorter for the joints on the fingers. I'm going to put this in some hot water, let it soak for a little bit. I have this coffee cup on a coffee cup warmer. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to put the Teflon through it first here, insert it through the knuckle, just like that, and we're going to put our pin in, and the pin should slide in very easily, which it did, and that's perfect. I'm going to take a Q-tip and just to make sure it's dried out, take my super glue, apply some super glue there, and put the pin in. It's good there. Take my pliers, squeeze it. Next one is the other finger joint, and that's going to go down just like that. Take my Teflon off here, and it will just slide in. There we go. And just like that one. Insert the pin in from the top. Perfect. Make sure it's all dry. Definitely helps to soak those Teflon bushings in hot water. Perfect. Now remember, these pins are different lengths, so of course the longer one goes on the hand, and where the finger mounts to the hand is for the longer one, the shorter one is for your joints. Okay. Go. So it goes in from underneath, just like that. And the cap. Okay. Like I said, you can take some accelerator and put a little bit on that, and that'll help it dry faster. Put our fingertip on. Super glue that. Perfect. There's our finger. That is done. We'll let that dry. Okay, I'm really bad today. I've been forgetting to turn on the camera. So these tendon things, tendon ball joints, we're going to put 3 of them on. I already did 1 of them. They only go on one way. They slide in there, and we'll put our screw into them on the back side, and we'll do that one right there. And get it started. And last one. There we go. All three are in. Now we'll go ahead and attach our finger. Take my Teflon out. It's nice and soft now. It's the longer one. There we go. Put the pin in from the top. Just like butter. Definitely works a lot better when they're warmed up in hot water. The Teflon. Put a super glue in there and put the cap on. And spray some accelerator on it. That's good. And that's good there. And that's good. Just got to do the thumb and we'll be done with the hand. Perfect. And that completes stage 83. Looks great. Let's go ahead and move over and do stage 84. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 84. So stage 84, we construct the left thumb. Here's all the parts for the left thumb. Here's all the parts listed. And just like the index fingers, the thumb goes together pretty much the same way. Take those Teflon bushings and soak them in hot water like I did before. Looks great. And then we're going to install the last ball joint. We'll install the thumb onto the hand. Install that ball joint. And that would be it. Let me get the parts. I'll be right back. Here's parts packed for stage 84. I'll take this out. We'll get a closer look. Here's all the parts for the thumb. Here's the ball joint, the last one, pretty big. All the pieces for the fingers, the screws, the caps, and more screws. Let's get started. Once again, I'll put the Teflon on the screwdriver here. I'll put the longer one on first and the two short ones. Two shorter ones are for the thumb joints. The longer one is for when the thumb gets mounted to the hand. I'm going to put that in my hot water. And that's going to go on my coffee warmer. Let those soak for a bit. While I wait for the Teflon bushings to warm up in the water, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the ball joint. And it simply goes together just like that. And we're going to put a PB screw into this. The PB screw is not the countersunk screw that came with this stage. The countersunk screw is made for metal. Remember, this is going in the plastic. This ball joint is all plastic, so it has the wider threads for the PB screw, the PB 2x6, so it's able to cut its way in. So that's how that works. So we'll put that in, tighten it down. Perfect. I think we're going to mount this to the hand next. Okay, so that's going to go just like that on the hand. And this time we use the KB screw, and that's the countersunk screw. That one right there. I'm going to put that through the hole first and get it started. Perfect. That's how that looks. Okay, now we can go ahead and go over and start building the thumb. Okay, so the thumb, we received two parts that are the same size, and that's 84-5. So it doesn't matter which one you use, but we're going to use this 84-6, the short stubby one. That's going to mount to that. So let me grab. Okay, so this is where we use the Teflon, longer Teflon bushing. I thought so because it's a lot thicker. Okay, we put that in this end here first. Okay, good. Slide it in. Perfect. Push that bushing back down. A little bit of super glue on this. And the cap. A little bit of accelerator. Hold that in place a little bit for a few seconds. Okay, now we'll install the next finger piece, just like that. Bring over a bushing out of the water. And they are very soft. Which is nice. Okay, take our pin, put it in from the top. Perfect. Okay. Make sure everything's dry. Super glue. Put the cap on it. Hold it together. Put a little bit of accelerator on it. I'm going to blow dry it. Okay, it's dry. Now the next one goes on there. Bring the last Teflon bushing over out of the water. There we go. Slide that on. There we go. Okay. This cap goes in from that end. Slides right in. Good. I like that. A lot easier. Wish I would have thought of that when I did the other hand. Was to heat up those bushings. Okay. There we go. Put the cap on. Hold it together, put some accelerator on it, and then I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer until it's dry. Some super glue here on the end, and put the tip on. Perfect. That's how that looks there. Now we're ready to mount this to the hand. Alright, so we're going to mount this screw in, cam 2x6. And it's tight. I had to put some Vaseline on it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So then our thumb is mounted. Our hand is complete. So that completes stage 84. Looks great. Let's head over and get started on stage 85. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 85. Stage 85, we extend the lower left arm and connect it to the hand. So here's the parts listed. And it looks like we start assembling some of the arm shafts like we did before in previous issues. And we have muscle spring connectors. And put those tendon connectors on. And looks like we use a cocktail stick to help us along here with one of the connectors. And that completes it. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 85. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. And here's the parts. So you have a little bit of the elbow joint for the shoulder, and those tendon connectors, these little pieces here we ought to glue on, some screws, and some bushings. Okay, so these three arms here, arm shafts, we're going to put these little bushings on them. One more. So we'll put those aside. Now we're going to glue these little tabs on. Need to cut these off the tree. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue in each of these points here. Okay, all four are in. That was very fiddly, but they're all in. Looks good. Okay, put those in there, and that one in there, and that one in there. Okay, and we're going to install the hand next. Ball socket goes on. Like that. Like that. Like that. And like that. Now, these tendons go through. They said you can use a cocktail stick to help out, but let me grab the right one into the front one here, first hole on the hand, right there. And just like that. Perfect. Now I'm going to put some super glue on those so they will stay on. There you go. That's how they look. That's all we do for stage 85. Let's head over and do stage 86. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 86. Stage 86, we assemble the shoulder, affix the left arm to the body, and collect a hip joint. So here's the parts. Here's a list of those parts. And we'll work on the left shoulder joint. Put that washer in, glue it in. And we need to get our Allen key. Put our parts in, assemble everything together there. Bring over the body. Use our Allen key to install that screw there. And that will complete everything. We'll have some leftover parts. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts pack for stage 86. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's all the parts. Plastic there, metal pin, plastic cap, friction washers, metal cap there, that's plastic, and some screws. Let's get started. Okay, so we'll assemble these two parts together here first. These go together just like, so we'll put these two parts together for the shoulder, and they slide together. There we go. A little coaxing, but that works. Okay. Perfect. Just like that. And we'll take this metal part and slide that in. Goes in only one way. Here's our screw, and it requires an Allen key. I have that. We're going to bring this over, and that's going to slide onto the socket. Just like that. And then this going to go down from underneath or from the top. Okay, and then we need to turn this over, and we're going to put the screw in from the other side. Okay, right there. So this is going to go in just like that. Put this cap back in and put our screw in. Take my Allen wrench and start tightening it down. Okay, good. That should be good. Alright, so we have a couple extra parts here left over. We're going to install those probably on the next stage, so that completes stage 86. Let's head over and do stage 87. Let's look at the build instructions for Stage 87. Stage 87, we're fitting a joint mechanism to the left thigh. And here's the parts we received with that. And we start working on the left thigh. We're going to glue in some nuts onto the thigh. We're going to install that cap that we had left over from the previous stage. Put some super glue in some areas here. Press down on the cap, and that completes that stage. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. So 87 was in this box. Let me take these out and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of those parts. Very nice. Okay, let's get started. And here's those nuts also. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to glue those nuts into place here. There we go, they're all in. Next thing we do, we're going to put this cap on here, but they want us to put some glue on some points here. Put it there, there, and there. Slide this back over and press it down in place. Perfect. That's how that looks. And that's all we do for Stage 87. Let's head over and do Stage 88. Let's look at the build instructions for Stage 88. Stage 88, we assemble the left hip joint. These are all the parts we received. And we start assembling that left hip joint assembly. And just like the other side we did previously, have to bring the body over, install the upper part of the leg to the hip. That's how that looks. And install the cap, some screws, and then we'll be done. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for Stage 88. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Alright, here's all the parts for the hip joint. They are all made of metal, and that's how they look there. How that looks. Plastic rubber parts, metal ball joint, and some screws. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we do is we're going to put this rubber cap in, just like that. I'm going to put the ball joint in. I feel like a doctor right now. So here's our hip joint. This is going to go down into that, obviously. You see what this does, there's a couple of notches. Okay, so it locks in. And we'll take a PM 3x8, lock that down in there. Good there. Okay, take this cap, put that in, just like that. Okay. Okay, so that rubber cap goes in all the way down. We'll put the metal cap on top of that. Perfect. This metal cap on top of that. These PM 2x18s go into it next. And that's good. Make sure they're all tight. And that's good there. Oh, and that's all we do for stage 88. We put in this leg onto the hip joint. So let's head over and do stage 89. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 89. Stage 89, we're finishing up the left hip joint and assembling the leg part. Here's the parts that came with that, the list of the pieces, and we assemble one of the leg parts. Then we continue on the hip joint, finish that up there, tighten that down so we have some movement, and then that's all we do. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for 89. I'll take them out, we'll get a closer look. Here's those parts. Everything here is plastic and some screws. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do, we're going to put these two parts together here. Just press fits. Perfect. I'm going to put that aside. So here's the hip joint. We're going to bring this part over. That's just going to insert into there, just like that. And put our screw in. And once again, that's our Allen wrench. And screw that down. That's good. That way it turns. And that's all we do for stage 89. Looks great. Let's head over and do the final stage, stage 90. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's look at the final stage, stage 90. Let's look at the build instructions. Stage 90, we're fitting parts to the left thigh. Here's those parts. Here's the list of the pieces. Bring over the body. We'll install that on that left thigh. Just like that. We have screws that have to go in on the other side to hold that in. We'll attach that leg shaft or leg part, and that will complete pack number 9. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 90. Take this out, we'll get a closer look. Here's what it looks like, made of plastic, and the screws for it. Let's get started. Okay, so here's that outer piece of the left thigh. That's simply just going to go down and get pressed in place. And we're going to put screws in on the other side. And these are tiny screws. Okay, so got a screw right here. Right there. It's kind of hard for you to see, I know. Good there. And there we go. That's tight. Wow. That's crazy. This will go in there. So we'll take this, put a screw through it, and it's going to get mounted on the inside there. Same thing. Put our screwdriver through that. And there we go. And that's good. That's good. That's how that works. Hard to see everything, but that completes stage 90. That was a blast. Alright, I'll be right back. And there you have it. That completes pack 9. We got the arm completed, the left arm in hand. That was a lot of fun, and we started on the left leg and left thigh. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this T800 today. It's fantastic, and I'm having a blast building it. So stay tuned for pack 10. I have it on hand, and I'll be doing that real shortly. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.